Welcome to something to talk about.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to something to talk about.
You heard the little lady. Welcome to something to talk about. And my name's Taco, and we're doing a Song of Ice and Fire character. Just, Saturday morning. It's time to party. I'm your old reliable. if you're looking for somebody to consistently yell nerdy crap at you, constantly saying and sometimes getting just entire facts wrong, I'm your guy. Let's party. All right. What's going on here? Pause this, find out, but let me give you a little hint. We're talking Daria. Let's go Daria Martell. It's the first time I read it out loud. So I should have practiced that before I started filming. Daria Martell. So she is the Princess of Dorne. But really, we're talking about the Dornish Letter too. So if you're here to talk about the Dornish Letter, hi. Let's probably do that. All right, but who's Daria Martell? She was the ruling princess of Dorne and the head of House Martell during the, it's like Kingdom of Martell at this point. Principality, one could say. During the reigns of King Aegon I and Aenys the First Targaryen. Princess Daria was the granddaughter of Princess Meria Martell, the Yellow Toad of Dorne, and the daughter of Prince Nymor Martell, who just every time I read his name, I want to say Nymor, because I love Marvel. So, yeah. Nymor the mutant, the first mutant. House Martell. People are going to be like, he's not the first mutant, blah, 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 blah. He's not in the world of the lore, but he's the first mutant ever published because Namor is the oldest Marvel character, and they later retconned he's a mutant. Whatever about it. Okay. House Martell. House Nymor Martell of Sunspear, usually simply just called Martell, is one of the great houses of the Seven Kingdoms in the ruling House of Dorne. Nymeris indicates the line of Nymeria, referring to the union of the Martells with the Dornish warrior queen Nymeria around 700 BC. The Prince of Dorne, or Princess of Dorne, rules from Sunspear in southeastern Dorne. The Martells of old used just a spear as their emblem. It was just one spear. While Nymeria and her Dornish use the sun as theirs. So when Nymeria wed Mors Martell, they just slapped them all together. The symbols were combined in the gold spear piercing the red sun on the orange field with their words unbowed, unbent, unbroken. Except for from the TV show. They broke Dorne pretty hard. Low-hanging fruit. All right, cool. Let's talk about the Yellow Toad. Yay! When Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen led the invasion of Dorne during the War of Conquest, right? That's what we're doing. War of Conquest. This is early stuff, right? Aegon and his sister wives, they conquer. They need to start conquering Dorne because they get everybody else, and the North bends their knee, and the Harrenhal, all this stuff, right? They do all the Harrenhals and I almost said Redgrass Field. The Field of Fire. Redgrass Field is something different. Do I got something on me? Oh, yeah, I do. It's fuzz. Cool. Look like a spider, so I kind of jumped there. All right. What am I doing here? This is during the War of Conquest. That's all I had to say. The Dornish refused to give battle. Instead, they launched guerrilla raids on Rhaenys forces, then melted away into the mountains and deserts and returned only to launch more guerrilla raids on the army anew. Queen Rhaenys just screw this, and just flew Meraxes to Sunspear and met Princess Meria, all right, alone there. So the Yellow Toad's just there alone. And Rhaenys walks in, demanded that the surrender of Dorne, but Meria instead replied that Dorne would never surrender. The Targaryen army then withdrew from Dorne, leaving the country untaken. This is what she said. So Rhaenys says, like, fire and blood, like, we're gonna come back with fire and blood, and she goes, "Oh, lady," or Yellow Toad's like, your words, ours are unbound, unbent, unbroken. You may burn us, my lady, but you will never bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. We are not, you are not wanted here. Return at your peril. What is that accent? This is Dorne. I had no clue what I was doing there. All right, so that's her grandma, right? That's Daria's grandma, the Yellow Toad. But I'm setting it all up, right? So that's during the First War of Conquest, and then we needed another war because Dorne's like, you're not going to conquest us. So then Aegon's like, all right. So he goes down there and he makes his kingdom, and he's like, all right, so we'll just get all the other kingdoms. And then when he's like, oh, so we settled? All right, we're attacking Dorne again. Ah! The First Dornish War. Well, Dorne had remained unconquered during the conquest. King Aegon did not forget. In 4 AC, he launched a new campaign against Dorne, one that would last for many years. During this First Dornish War, that I had to sneeze or something. Okay. During this First Dornish War, instead of remaining at Sunspear, Meria, along with all of her other Dornish lords, fled their castles, simply yielding them up. They just disappeared. You couldn't find anybody. It did not take long for Targaryen forces to reach Sunspear and find it empty. And declare themselves the victors. We won. We got the flag, right? We captured their flag. We won. The Dornishmen had not surrendered, however. They swarmed from the Shadow City and retook the castle once Lord Rosby, who was named the Warden of the Sands, was bound hand and foot and was dragged to the top of the spear tower, and Princess Meria, the Yellow Toad herself, threw him out the window in the defenestration of Sunspear. It's so good. So, like, a poor Rosby is like, oh, I guess I'll be in charge. And he's like, yeah. Aegon's like, yeah, Rosby, you're now in charge. You're in charge of Dorne. Be the warden. And then the army leaves, and he's like, Sunspear, huh? This is all my stuff, huh? All right. And then the Shadow City all come in, and the old lady's like, tie him up, we're throwing him out the window. This is Dorne. That's what happens. Oh, man, dumbass with Dorne. Okay. The defenestration of Sunspear. In 9 AC, so we're 5 years in, the dragon Meraxes was shot down at the Hellholt. Sorry, so this is fighting the others at the Hellholt. The others at the Hellholt. That's harder to say than you would think. The dragon Meraxes was shot down from the sky with Queen Rhaenys Targaryen upon her back, with a bolt from a scorpion pierced the dragon's eye. Dang. Rhaenys was never seen again. The next 2 years, Aegon spent burning everything he could in what was called the Dragon's Wrath. Many assassinations and war crimes followed. The First Dornish War is nasty. It is not a fun war. I'll tell you that right now. Like, no war is fun, but it's not like, it wasn't honorable. Like, the way that Dorne fights, you know, they take her dragon down, but they hide. You can't get to them, and then they'll send assassins here and there, and then they'll show up at an Oakhart's wedding and do awful war crimes. Yeah, fighting Dorne is not fun. So, also, I had to bring up the Queen Rhaenys getting shot down at the Hellholt and no one ever finding her body. It's important. It's important. All right. Did we finally get to the character this video is about? Jeez. Yeah, right now, actually. Thank you for asking. Peace Delegation. This art is amazing, by the way. All right, so peace delegation. Upon Mira's death in 13 AC, she lasted a while, man. Dira's father, yeah, this character, Dira, the character we're talking about, Dira's father, Nymor, took over rule of Dorne. The first Dornish War had been going on since 4 AC, so 9 years, and Nymor wanted peace. He's like, yeah, I'm not my mom. I'm over it. Let's just stop. Now, the Prince of Dorne, in charge of Dorne, I wrote Nymor there. Nymor Martell sent his daughter Daria as head of the delegation to King's Landing with the skull of the what did I write? Dead dragon Meraxes as a peace offer. So she comes with the skull, like, hey, we brought back the skull. That some people might think of that as a threat, like we brought the head we chopped off, yo. Also, is that like symbolism from like the newer books of how Dorne really wants them to send Gregor Clegane's skull, and she brings a dragon skull, a giant skull, a dragon skull? I didn't even think about that until now. Maybe there's some. It's like a poem. It rhymes. Thank you, George. Lucas that time. All right. Including all right. So she brings the peace officer the dragon's head. Many at the court took this as an ill act. Yeah, exactly. Including Queen Visenya and Lord Orys Baratheon, who wanted to chop her hand off. So Orys lost his hand during the war. So she shows up. She's like, I brought this skull. And they're like, it's a threat. And Orys is like, yeah, chop her hand off like this. They're like, calm down, Orys. Oh, my God. Bite her in the nose. All right. No one's gonna get that reference. Lord always Harkard. Where was I? Lord Oakhart. Where was I? Yeah. Who wanted to cut her hand off? Lord Oakhart suggested that Daria should be sent to the meanest brothels to serve any man who would have her. That's a Oakhart thing because the wedding that got raided by Dornishmen, people got sent to brothels. It was awful. So Daria assured King Aegon I that Dorne wanted peace, but would not swear to the Iron Throne. They will not bow or bend or be broken, right? King Aegon's counselors argued against this, claiming that Aegon would look weak if he agreed. In addition, they believed that the Lords of the Reach in the Stormlands would feel very offended if he took this peace, which was very true. Yeah, man, like Reach they got that wedding I already talked about, and then like the Stormlands is where the Dornish marchers are. So there's just been so much fighting, and yeah. So everyone's like, dude, don't do it. And then a letter, the Dornish Letter. King Aegon was ready to refuse the offer of peace. He's like, I'm more of a war guy myself. When Princess Daria presented him with a letter from her father, for your eyes only, your grace, she said. Aegon read the letter on the throne, stone-faced and silent. He reads it to himself. And clenching the bladed seat so hard that he started to bleed. Whoa. Once he was done, he burned the letter so no one could read it, and he never spoke about the contents of the letter ever again. That night, he flew to Dragonstone upon Balerion. Like, he went for a fly. He's like, nope, me and the dragon, we're going to have to go to Dragonstone, stare at this volcano or whatever, and figure stuff out. Me and the dragon. I'm gonna defer to my even smaller council, which is me and my giant dragon. We got the small council, then we got the smaller council. When he returned the next morning, he agreed to the peace and signed a treaty of eternal peace. That was the name of the treaty. So something was really messed up in that letter, right? Because he reads it and he's like, "Arr!" And then he flies off on his dragon, and then he comes back and he's like, fine, I'll sign. Peace. Eternal peace. The vulture hunt. At some point in the following decade, old Prince Nymor passed as well. Away. And Daria succeeded him, Princess of Dorne, in 23 AC. He didn't get the rule on because his old mom ruled forever, and now Daria gets to rule. King Aegon and his eldest son Aenys flew to Sunspear on their dragons, Balerion and Quicksilver, to attend the Feast of Friendship, hosted by Princess Daria, to mark 10 years of the anniversary of the Peace Accords. In 37 AC, Aenys succeeded his father as king when Aegon dies, and was almost immediately opposed by 4 rebels. Yeah, just rebels all over the place, right? The largest and most threatening of these rebels was the so-called Vulture King in the Red Mountains. Princess Daria publicly issued documents against the Vulture King from Sunspear, but many believed that she supported him in secret. Yeah, it's like, hey, Dorne's attacking again. And she's like, yeah, it's some rebel. And they're like, are you just backing the rebel? You're not. She's like, I have nothing to do with this. She probably did. All right, that's all we got for our story. And let's get into... let's talk about the letter. Okay, so this is basically the first pink letter, right? I wish they said that there was pink wax on it, just so everyone's like, it's another pink letter, wow! But what was that? But no, just a normal one. Many speculate that it was what was written in it. Yeah, because no one knows what was in it, and he burned it right away, right? The Fire and Blood book itself, which all this is based on, speculates many things, that it was either a simple plea from one father to another. Nymor was like, we're both dads. Do we really want to keep warring? Or it could have been heartfelt words. Hey, man, really stop. Like, I'm tired of this, man. Is that what heartfelt words are like? A list of dead. Hey, these are all the people who died and it sucks. Let's stop. Or even written by the Yellow Toad herself before her death, and it was cursed. I love that one. Or maybe it was a threat of calling the Faceless Men. Yeah, you stop, or we're going to give that jingle jangle over to Bravos, and we're going to have some of these guys going to show up, murk you. Yeah, you like that? People will get that reference. All right. There is a post on Westeros.org from 2018, from the Fire Eater that breaks down many possibilities. I'm gonna not go ahead and check that one if you want to see Fire Eater's post. I believe it's just called the Dornish Letter if you want to see all the possibilities. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the main ones. We're just gonna finally yawn. I've been fighting it. Oh my god, I'm sorry, guys. I've been fighting that yawn for a while, and I just had to let it happen. Okay, where was I? So, Fire Eater breaks down the many possibilities. The biggest are that they still have Rhaenys captive and tortured in Dorne, and that if Aegon agrees to peace, they'll put her out of her misery. Yeesh! That's years of that. Or perhaps she is still alive and will be kept safe as a hostage. I was on a live stream on my channel with Michael Talks About Stuff and Random Internet Guy and Russ Shackleton, and we were breaking down all Dornish sigils. So if you want to go find my live stream of all Dornish sigils, go check that out, and you'll see when we were talking about this. And we kind of really broke it down. And I knew I was going to film this one next, so I kind of brought it up to just kind of see what people think. And this came up, and we all lean towards the possibility of Rhaenys being a hostage. So not like, hey, we've been torturing her, and we're going to end the torture if you sign peace. I think if he read that, he would be like, yeah, we're attacking. Attacking now. You're still torturing her? But if he read, we have her, she's safe, But if you don't want her tortured, you better sign the peace accords. And also, if you ever attack. So when we were discussing it, because we kind of weren't really sure where we were, but after we came to the discussion, that's kind of the one that we all agreed on. So yeah, what do you think? What was in the letter? I would like to hear what other people think. Though the Hellholt is a rough place to be held captive. Yeah, absolutely. The others are terrifying. You know, because 50% of all others are mad and the other 50% are worse. That's what they say about the others. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. This is Deria Martell, and this is the Dornish Letter, and I'm glad I finally got to cover Martell. I've covered every major family house, so I did Ronald Aaron like right away. I didn't. I'm gonna say except for blank. I've done 2 Starks now, Arlick Stark, and a different Stark. I've done 2 Starks. Trust me. Covered a Lannister. Covered 2 Tyrells. I covered a Baratheon, and I think the only ones I haven't covered. Have I covered a Tully? Technically, I did the Muppet Tullys, but it looks like the Tullys and the Greyjoys are the last ones for me to cover. And I've covered Targaryens. That's it. So I'm glad I finally got to cover Martell. Nymor Martell. So what do you guys think? What's in that letter? What's in the box? What's in the letter? And all that stuff. So you guys have a good day. Let me know in the comments and do all that smash all that YouTube junk. And yeah. Peace.